Hey and howdy everyone, it's Jeannie with Paper Pixie Ink. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are getting started on tutorial number 8. So we are going to be working on the back of the first page, the second page, both the front and the back, and the front of the third page. So let's dive in. So these ones are again fairly simple. So we need a piece of paper to go on here and a piece of paper to go on here. And then we are going to need to cut a few pieces to go on the little flaps. And then these are going to be our journaling cards. So let's go ahead and sort out what we want our journaling cards to be on these. So obviously we're going to want ones that are landscape. So it looks like we have 4 to choose from that are landscape style. And then we're going to need to choose papers that will go with these. So I'm going to take a peek at my papers. I don't want to use both the same ones for, for each side. Now, we may want to flip one over because, there are options for that as well. So you could have, a little bit of journaling space or whatever. So let's take a peek at our papers. So we do have this. I would recommend that you choose, matching papers. And it does look like we probably need to trim a little tiny bit off the tops. So we do have these that are kind of matching, but I think that's a little bit too much. So I'm going to put these ones aside. I won't use these. I may use that. I'm going to go with these. So they will go on here like this. And then we're going to need to cut some of the corresponding cream colored cardstock to go in here. So we're going to cut them to 4x6. We need 2 for each one, so we're going to need 4 in total. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Please, nope. Alright, so I'm going to cut these to 6, and then four, and 4. Now these I may throw out because they're getting kind of small, but hold on to them for now. So there are our inserts for those, and we will put magnets on these so that we can so that they'll stay closed, as well as our pages. So the next thing that we need to do, aside from cutting these down a little bit, is choose the papers that we're going to use for these. Now I think I might decide to use some of these, maybe. So let's take a look at what we are using here. So we are using these. So we should probably choose corresponding papers. And something that has both the pink and the blue together. So I'm going to use these, and they need to be cut to 4 3/4 tall, or wide. So I'm just going to go 4 3/4. And so now we have our papers for here. So now we just need to pick out our papers for the inside here of these, because I do have a couple of these for the side. So if I used these, I can just cut this piece off, and then I'd only need a small piece of this to go on the side. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Then both of my pages will match. I'm going to cut just a little bit of this excess off. And then I'm going to cut this one the same way. So I'm going to cut to these blue squares. Put that aside. So this is a great way how you can use up some of your, pieces. So this, we need it to be 4 3/4, and this is a little better, little tiny bit better than 3 1/4. So that means we would need 1.5 inches on here, but again, remember that it was a little bit better than 3 1/4, so I'm going to reduce it by 1/16 of an inch and cut. And then theoretically, this should fit quite well right here. So there we have it. And I think that will work quite well for the page. So we need to cut another one of these at the same size. I'm going to put this to the side, move this over. So this will be for the other side. This will go like this. So now we need to put everything together. So in order for me to do that, I'm going to put my pieces to the side so they're, out of my way. I'm going to cut a little bit of excess off of the pieces for my large part. So we need to make sure that we are putting magnets on these. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple of magnets on here. So on these ones, I will put one set on each of these flaps, and then I will also put one on the landscape photo mat piece that we are going to do, because I want that to stay closed as well. And I always do my magnets roughly the same way. So there's those on. So before I do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to glue these down. So as always, I'm going to put a little bit of extra around my magnet. Okay, so we're also going to add magnets to the inside of these. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and place down all of my mats and whatnot for these. So now I'm just going to glue them down so that they are roughly, you know, even. To do this, I'm going to just take my pencil and I am going to just eyeball the placement of this so that they're, you know, relatively even. And then I'm going to lift this and I'm just going to put a little pencil mark on it. I'm going to lift this side and put a little pencil mark on it. And then I am going to take my glue and I am going to place glue on it just like that. And I am only going to put glue on the 3 sides and not in the middle. So just like this, because I want to leave this open for a pocket if I decide I want to add a little bit more to it. And I'm just going to eyeball this and place it down. You could measure if that is your desire. I'm not really much for measuring. I do want to make sure that those lines of glue are really well adhered because I want to make sure that that stays. And then if I wanted, this can now become like a little pocket for a small tag or something. So this opens up and this opens up this way. You could also put some pattern paper on this. I did not on my other album, on the Let It Snow album, but I may do it for this one. Time will tell. Alright, so now we have this page and this page done. So we are moving on to this one. So let's go ahead and put our magnets on. So we are going to need 2 sets because we're going to put 1 set on here. So this flap has a magnet closure. So let's do this side first. And then we'll do this side. This is going to have a magnet as well, but we'll do that in a minute. We're also going to put a magnet on this because we want to make sure that this stays closed really well. Okay, so this should stay closed fairly well. This will also need a magnet, so let's go ahead and do that now while we're working on those. Okay, so we are going to need a small piece and a small strip that will go in here. And then on my other album, I just used a full piece of the coordinating cardstock on here. So I'm going to do that again. And then we'll need pieces for here and here. Bearing in mind that you're going to want to make sure that you coordinate those with at least these pieces here. So, I actually really like this, and I think it will fit well on this page. So I think I'm just going to, maybe I'll use it on here. I don't really want to cover it up. I think these little cards are really cute, so I'm going to cut that for that. And then I think I might just use this, the opposite side of that on here. So let's start cutting. So this is 6 inches. So we need to cut our paper for the front of this to 5 3/4. So I'm going to cut that just like that. And then I need to cut this to 5 3/4. So I'm going to cut this way first. And I'm going to cut so that I have as much of that blue as possible. And then I'm going to turn this around and see if I can't just cut some of this other blue. So I think that will work. And then the size of this one is, it's 7, so we need 6 3/4. So I am going to grab a piece of my coordinating cardstock and I'm going to cut it to 6 3/4. And then it needs to be 8 inches. So I'm going to cut that to 8 inches. Alright, so we know this is going to go like this. This is going to go like this. I'll flip this over. This is going to be like this. This will be on top of it. So we need to pick one of these to go on it. So we have Type for Tea, Tea Party, and You're My Cup of Tea. I think that one will be sufficient. And then we'll need to cut 2 pieces of 4 by 6 of the coordinating cardstock for that. So let's do that. Let's see. 4 by 6, and that's 1. So these will go in here. And then I think we can just either repurpose this one, or I don't know, maybe we can use this one. I think I like that. So we're going to go with that. So let's go ahead and figure out this page. So I think I might go with that there. And I might cut one of these down to go here. But then I don't like this. I do think I like that though. So, in order to cut our piece for here, we are going to need a piece that is roughly 3 inches by 8, and so we'll need to cut it this way. I'm going to put this to the side. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to cut one to approximately 3 inches. And then to try and center this as much as I can, because if you recall, we tried to do that with all of them. And then I'm going to grab my die. So this can go like this, and this will go like that. So that should work quite well. Not sure how I mismeasured that. No, it is bigger than 3 1/4. So that will go like that. So we need to find pages for in here. So I really like this. So I am going to score a thin strip here. Just a really thin one. Because I want to be able to flip this up. I'm going to apply just a thin strip of glue along that small little edge. And I'm going to press it down. And make sure it stays pressed down. We have this, and then this is going to be a pocket with a tuck in it, which we will take care of in a little bit when we've done the rest of the pages. Alright, so that is the end of tutorial number 8. So next time we will be working on the back of the 3rd page, the 4th page, both the front and the back, and the front of the 5th page. So stay tuned. And as always, if you're interested in seeing more, don't forget to click on that subscribe button. Thanks, everyone.